What's up, everybody? I'm the Zombuddy, and welcome back to Major Minor. I am joined once again by my lovely wife, Hoshi.
Hi, everyone!
So, we're forming some kind of temporary alliance, as Righty called it. Us, the assassins, and the mercenary are going to, band together as we walk into the room that Mr. Creepy German Butler walked into, that supposedly also contains Kaylin. And we're going to try and work together to get Kaylin out of here.
Supposedly.
Anyway. I think we're fucked.
Probably. This game seems to be kind of leading towards that.
Leaning towards the you're fucked?
Yeah.
Central Hall. As soon as we enter the room, we separate. We all stand in a line, facing towards Riley and Claire. But it seems like they made a quick switch. Claire now holds Kaylin hostage, and Riley Kabu. I examine their faces and notice a disparity. Riley seems calm and collected, completely unfazed. But Claire looks around in a panic, fidgeting awkwardly. Well, yeah, because there's 5 dudes who are armed facing him right now.
And he's not used to it. He's a politician.
Politicians are usually cowards.
Yes.
Riley's leadership was now more apparent than ever. Riley, what do you want? You're cornered. There's more of us. I want to secure the throne, Endymion. That's all I've ever wanted. That is something you can never do. You need to give up before it's too late. Riley, we can negotiate for your life. Killing you and Claire isn't our goal. We only ever wanted to end your campaign. Just give up and you can still live. I'm afraid it's too late for that. All of our prisoners are already freed. It won't be long before they start talking. And after that, they want vengeance. Living in fear isn't living after all. We would never be truly safe from harm. But it's good to know you're not hiding. You're sick of pretending not to know. It's so obvious that you belong to the king. This works in your favor, Riley. You can have him make a public statement. He'll announce your innocence to everyone. He will gladly make a statement like that, especially if you surrendered your campaign. At that point, you'd be a free man. I notice that Claire has calmed down by now. It seems that he likes what he's hearing. Riley, on the other hand, seems surprised. You really think you can do that? Of course, it would be simple. But we want protection too. A place to stay, guarded at all times. Don't press your luck, Riley.
I don't trust Riley.
Why would you? Look at what he's wearing. It's you who shouldn't be pressing. He presses his blade up to Kabu's throat, smirking. Fine, but you two have to stand down. That includes handing over Kaylin and Kabu. Claire and Riley exchange glances before nodding. We have to do this my way, Endymion. You can come to get Kabu from me directly. Well, that's not a good idea. Slowly, and with no sudden movements. And after that, Conrad can get Kaylin. And then you'll escort us all to a safe place. I need you to ensure that you're not lying. We'll be at the back of the group. No one can be behind us. I know the true nature of you two.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you stabbed them in the back yourselves, dude.
Or just disappeared.
Yeah.
Endymion and Conrad exchange glances this time. Conrad looks worried, but Endymion looks confident. It was complicated, but this might all end peacefully.
Right.
Peacefully. I'm going to walk towards you now. I'll raise my arms so I can't attack. When I get there, you hand over Kaylin. Riley nods, and Endymion starts to walk. Righty looks on, unsure of what to think. Riley's got a big axe. He could just, cut people in half. But whatever.
Yeah, I think he's probably big and slow.
Yeah. The assassins are generally a little faster.
Just a wee.
But if things went awry, I'm sure he'd attack. Slower, Endymion. There's no need to move fast. He obeys instantly, almost like a puppet. Riley watches in fright as the assassin approaches him. I can see Conrad grip his sword, just in case. Kabu and Kaylin, everything will be okay. I promise this won't last much longer. He reassures the two hostages as he arrives. After a few moments, he's face to face with Riley. You must stay true to your word, Riley. I'm going to take Gabu and walk back. Of course. I wouldn't dream of crossing you.
Bullshit.
But before you go, can I say one thing? Make it quick.
Die.
Riley clears his throat before speaking. It echoes throughout the large hall. You should have never trusted a politician. We're all dirty, especially King Velasquez. Or should I say, my true employer? Endymion looks shocked, unable to move. Did Riley just say that Velasquez was his boss? This must go deeper than any of us thought. Riley uses this momentary confusion to make his move. He runs his blade along Kabu's throat effortlessly. He squirms and falls to the ground in a puddle of blood. Betrayal! Bum bum bum. Riley, you bastard!
Is anyone here really surprised?
No.
Anyone?
None.
Anyone?
No.
I'm just hearing crickets.
Yeah. He reaches for his daggers, but he's not fast enough. Riley plunges the knife into his gut multiple times. After the final stab, he twists the knife around. Well, there went Endymion. Good job. Endymion falls to the ground, making the puddle larger. Riley stands there with a sadistic grin, laughing. Endymion, no! Conrad lunges forward, but Riley intercepts him. He holds Conrad in place, stopping his attack. Player's like, dude. Player looks horrified, staring at Kabu's body, but his grip against Kalen tightens. He's panicking. Riley walks over to his pawn, still laughing loudly. Do it, player. Kill Kalen. He's the biggest thorn in our side. If you do it, we'll be unstoppable. Player gulps audibly, his body shaking. Blair, don't do this! Righty interjects, still holding Conrad tightly. It's not too late to become a free man. Riley's been using you all along. There isn't any real proof of your crimes. But if you kill Galen, I can't help you. There will be witnesses to your crime. Do the right thing here and surrender. I'm against Velasquez as well, you know. So I'm not acting in a way that helps him. I want to help you and save Galen. Player, we've come too far to back out. Everything we've worked for is on the line. I order you to kill Galen. Right now. Player looks at Riley, then at Kabu's lifeless body. He presses the knife harder against Galen's throat. Any harder and he'd start to draw blood. You're right about that, Riley. Everything is on the line right now. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, Kalen. He closes his eyes before he uses the blade, almost like he can't attach himself to his actions. He adds a third victim to the floor, and more blood. But it isn't Kalen's blood. It's Riley's.
Oh, thank God.
He grabs his throat and squirms in pain. Player looks at what he's done, horrified. Kalen uses this opportunity to break free. He runs towards Riley, gaining his freedom. As he sees this, he releases his grip on Conrad. Endymion! He immediately runs towards Endymion's body. Yeah, dude, he got gutted, so... He cradles him in his arms, shaking softly. This isn't funny, Endymion. Wake up! Player runs to Kabu's body and holds it close. With the violence gone, they cry over their losses. Righty, Kalen and I stare on in shock. I'm so sorry, my son.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, what? And then I remembered the whole, adoption thingy stuff, blah, blah, blah.
But it isn't over yet. Before any of us can speak, we get visitors. They enter the room from the back as if they watched. Oh, hey, it's the twins.
Oh, joy.
So this is what the revolution looks like? Pathetic. Wouldn't you agree, Nami?
Yes, Nagi, I agree. They're hurt over such small losses. These men mean nothing in the grand scheme. I forgot how I did her voice to begin with.
She sounded like a Disney witch.
from what I remember.
Okay.
But I'm thankful they became violent. It helped me test out my little theory. Father's been deceitful, yet again.
Big surprise.
They swap sides?
Yep.
They stare at all of us with sly smirks. Oh, your character's wearing a G-string at the moment.
I believe so, yes.
Interesting.
I think your guy is too, though.
I don't want to know what's below the waist here. For all I know, it's like blades and stuff. They stare at all of us with sly smirks. Who are these people, and why were they watching? And why do they look like strange OCs from a website? The man, or Nagi, starts to walk towards me. So you're the man that father wants. I have to say, I'm surprised. I expected something different. I immediately hold out my sword. I forgot he had a sword.
I did too.
I've never used it before, so I mimic what I've seen. There's no way I could defend myself against him. Don't be so stupid, Savior. I just want to get a closer look. I back up in time with his steps. There's no way I want this guy close to me. Righty stands forward and holds out his axe. He's leaving Kalen's defense to come to mine? What? Well, at least there's someone my size. But it's useless. You can't stop me. Righty takes this as a challenge and leaps forward, but I find it very hard to explain what happens next. As if she teleported, Nami blocks the way. She extends an arm and punches Righty across the room. He hits the wall with a thud and falls to the floor. He's motionless, knocked out cold. This leaves me and Kalen alone and defenseless. Thanks, my love. He was starting to get on my nerves. He continues walking towards me. I try to back up further, but I hit the wall. He grins at me, knowing I can't go anywhere. Do you have any idea what you are? Do you have any idea what's inside of you? I make eye contact with Kalen. I can tell he wants to help, but it's pointless. Anyone who can take out Righty is just too powerful. I give up and try to run, but it's useless. Nami appears by my side and pins me to the wall. Nagi holds out his sword as he approaches me. Father tried to trick us. The power that he wants isn't within Terra. For some reason, it's within you. Before I can even think, I'm skewered on his blade. He stabs it deep into the wall, pinning me in place. My body lights up in pain as I start to bleed out. He twists the blade inside me, intensifying the pain. The gear on the base of his sword starts to turn. I can feel myself becoming weaker. I'm dying. Looks like we've won the race, Nami. I didn't think it would be that easy. Anything to say before I unleash this?
Here's to the future we create.
Yes, to the future we create. He pushes the blade deeper and the gear spins faster. I feel like it's draining me of my very essence. They give me such terrifying grins I have to look away. Moments later my vision fades into nothingness. The last thing I hear is Claire and Conrad's cries. They weep over the family they will never see again, for on that day they became only memories. The achievement for that chapter was called Ballroom Blitz. Indeed. Everyone's dead. Except Australia, but they'll be dead soon. Fucking kangaroos.
Several months prior.
Several months. Oh, we're prequeling now?
Mm-hmm.
I smile as I run down the halls of the local mall. Every day that passed, my odds got even better. The pop star contest had become a worldwide phenomenon. Stocks rose and stores sold out. Everyone wanted to win. I tried not to drink too much, but it was addicting. Not only the caffeine, but the prize that waited. Everybody wanted to live a life of luxury like that. We all had worries, we just wanted to melt away. There were so many stores I could choose from, but I had a local joint that I liked to stick to. It didn't get much business, and I thought that'd help. I suppose that's something like a gambler's hope. The less used a machine will pay out more, right? At least that's what I told myself every single day. Nobody had won yet. Both cans were still in the wild. I turn a few corners and end up at my favorite store. The clerk greets me as usual as I walk inside. I notice a new addition, They have TVs on the wall. Some sort of news report about the contest was airing. You really couldn't go a minute without hearing of it. It's not often that the whole world unites like this. The hell? I walked a little deeper into the store. For some reason they kept the cooler in the back. That made me jump. Maybe it was to tempt me with other choices first. Hi. I wonder who I'd meet if I won. I'm sure the people running the tour would be awesome. At least, I hoped that was the case. Some people can be all business and no pleasure. Yeah, like a certain lizard we know. Hi. But I'm sure Clace would be great, at least. You hear all kinds of things on the news. He was young and had a long career ahead of himself. You go away, we don't like you. But let's not forget... I
kinda like her.
No. But let's not forget about the people behind the scenes. There were those involved that no one even knew about. Not everybody liked the limelight, after all. I liked her. I feel like we're getting close to the end here.
Maybe.
A slight pain starts radiating in my head. I hate headaches. I've been getting them a lot lately. They're probably caffeine headaches.
Probably.
I do my best to push it aside as I arrive at the cooler. But when I get there, I notice they're sold out. Did somebody come and buy out their supply? We didn't even get to talk to him.
Nope.
I quickly turn around and walk back to the clerk. It's extremely unusual that this place would sell out. I decide to talk to them and ask what's going on. The clerk shrugs and says that they have lots. He tells me that I must have overlooked them. That's weird, I'm not the type to do that. Oh, hi, Inumi.
Blip.
Blip. The headache gets more intense and I stumble. I press myself against a counter for support. The clerk asks if I'm okay, and I signal that I'm fine. I look at the TV once again. The report has changed. Now they're talking about murders or something. Hi, Rocker. It's a shame, but that's the kind of world we live in. Maybe we're using this contest to mask our flaws. I decide to give it a shot and check the cooler again. I'm not expecting anything, so I have nothing to lose. But before I can get there, the pain returns. I take a moment to brace myself, holding onto a shelf. It gets worse, despite all of my coping techniques. I try to call out for help, but no one comes to my aid. Hey, Acheron. And just like that, my body gives up. My hand slips from the shelf and I fall to the ground. My head crashes harshly against the linoleum floor. I expect to be knocked out, but that's not what happens. It's like the fall flipped a switch in my mind. It's at that moment that I remember everything. Did he shoot himself backwards?
Maybe?
I immediately rise to my feet and clutch my chest. I fully expect a blade to be stabbed through my body. I pant heavily before realizing that I'm fine. But I still rest against a shelf, utterly confused. So are we.
Me too.
Why was I here? Before I won the contest? Who are these people that attacked us? What happened to everybody in that ballroom? How could I get back to help them? You could say that they were blitzed. I'd have to win the contest, wouldn't I? Well, in the case of Riley Blitzkrieged.
Come
Nazi
on.
jokes. But this store was all sold out. I could have sworn that this is where I won. After that thought, one last memory returns to me. Singe. Hi, Singe. I check my pocket. And sure enough, there it is. The replica can that Singe gave me in our meeting. He did shoot himself back in time.
Yep.
I gulp audibly and look back at the clerk's direction. For all intents and purposes, this was a winning can. I don't really have a choice. I'd have to use this. It's the only way I could get back and try again. Perhaps this time things would be different. I walk back and laugh, telling the clerk he was right. He rings through the purchase and I pay him promptly. It wouldn't be in his system.
Nope.
Because that's... whatever. I leave the store, certain of one single fact. This was how I won my place in Clace's World Tour. Self-fulfilling prophecy was the name of the chapter achievement. Isn't that a song? Were all of these songs? No, because one of them was a Trump reference.
Yeah.
I'm jolted awake and I cry out for help. But I quickly realize this was an overreaction. I pant heavily and my body uncontrollably shivers. I'm covered in a layer of sweat that feels like ice. Hey, It's okay. You're safe now. Take this. It should help you out. He must have noticed my shivering. He places a blanket on my shoulders. I wrap it around my body tightly and look up at him. I ask him what just happened and where we were. You were thrashing about in your sleep. You passed out after the bombing incident. I wasn't sure how long you'd be out. As you can see, we left the building. We're in an underground bunker now. You can rest easy. We're safe. He takes a deep breath as if it's finally over. He leans back in his chair, giving me a slight smile. So I was thrashing about in my sleep. Was that whole thing just a dream, then? We have lots to talk about, you know. So much has happened and all so fast. I shift my body around and rest my feet on the floor. This whole place smells stiff and uncared for, almost like the prison back at Claire's house. The events of the ballroom play back in my mind. Conrad lost Endymion, and Claire lost Kabu. I wish there was something I could have done, but I was busy getting shish kebabbed. Ashron must sense the sorrow on my face. He places a paw on my shoulder and comforts me.
It's okay. I know what you're feeling. We're more alike than you think.
I laugh softly, instantly doubting him. I don't think he has the same weight on his shoulders.
Oh, but he does.
Life is full of hardships like this. But one thing's the same, no matter what.
Blip.
We all have regrets that... What?
We all have regrets when we overcome them.
No, why did you blep at me?
But one thing is the same, no matter what. Blip.
One thing's the same, no matter what. Sticking your tongue out at people. Blep. We all have regrets when we overcome them. Mine would be my lack of honesty. Towards you. And everyone here. But at the same time, it was necessary.
Blep at the same time.
Did I say blep?
Yes.
God damn it.
Hoshi wins. Super blep.
Super blep. Lack of honesty.
That was a fun wave pattern.
Lack of honesty. What does he mean by that? I don't even know where to start. But please, let me finish my story. It's important that you know everything.
Blip.
I believe that you've met РouᴉW before.
Blip.
And I believe that you've been to the Ark. These are a couple things we have in common.
Blip.
Woman? Those were the last things I expected him to say. I stare at him in sheer confusion, speechless. Perhaps this story goes deeper than I thought. He granted me a portion of his power. The ability to slow or stop time's flow. And with that, he gave me an objective. I was supposed to protect all of you. Everyone inside the convention center. It seemed like an I don't know where that came from. It seemed like an easy enough task, right? But he gave me some opposition. Someone bent on killing all of you. Maxine Armstrong. Yeah, and I'm sure that you figured it out. It was the arms heiress visiting Japan. Or should I say, my sister. Bum, bum, bum! Wait, we already knew. Not so much of a twist. My true name is Ashron Armstrong. You're your own AA meeting. Youngest in the Armstrong family line. But I've long since abandoned that name. He continues unleashing revelations. More of the puzzle pieces fall into place. Things were more connected than I ever could have guessed. РouᴉW pitted sibling against sibling. One to protect and one to kill. The forces of life and death in our hands. He turned it into some sort of contest. If any were left standing, I would win. But if everyone died, Max was the victor. The prize was the Ark itself. We could get to rule as an immortal being. Life and death would cater to our whims. So this was a game to Max. If she won, she could undo the deaths. That and bring back our sister. I remember РouᴉW telling me about this. He said that he wanted a worthy successor, but he never mentioned Ashron to me at all. Well, yeah, that wouldn't help him. Plus, it wouldn't be fun, according to him.
Of course not.
I was under the assumption that it was only Max. I hope that things are making more sense.
A little bit.
That was the true nature of what happened. The truth behind the convention center.
So this was all just a battle to rule over the Ark. And we all got caught up in it because of my role. Ṟouᴉ said he had to watch me as well as the contest. But why would Ṟouᴉ want to leave the Ark? He said he was bored and lonely, but that can't be it. I think that could be it. Bored and lonely will do something to somebody if it's for a long enough period of time.
Very true.
Especially when they have absolute power like that.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be more to this story than we know. Either way, the battle is over. Max can't get to any of you down here. In a few hours, I will rule the Ark. He lets out a soft grin, and then a blade appears through his chest. I'm assuming some shit like that's going down.
Or there's bombs in the pipes.
Or there's bombs in the pipes, because it looks like they're in an access tunnel, not a bunker.
Yep. Although I don't know, that door behind them seems pretty thick.
Yeah, that does look like a metal door. Max relied far too much on her power, but I only ever used it twice myself. Once to plant my resume in Jade's office, and the second time for the evacuation. Max was extremely eager to compete with me. She took care of the previous guard. I needed to enter the tour naturally, but after that it was child's play. I know how she works better than anyone. Pushing her buttons was incredibly easy.
For some reason I read easy as sexy.
The hell?
I have no idea!
Can you have a visual Freudian slip? I ask him why he's so sure of his victory. If Max had the power, there was still a chance. No, there's no chance. We were playing her right from the start. She fell into our trap far too easily. You keep saying we like we were a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Our trap. Yeah, see, he figured it out. What did he mean by that? I was only open with one other person. It was Singe. He knows everything. I even told him of the Ark and our powers. We formulated a plan together. He's a genius, to say the least.
I don't like the sound of this.
That, and a very talented actor. Singe is involved now, too. Did he tell him as soon as he arrived, like, as part of the unit? Because if he told him that far back, Singe is an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like after this, I won't have any questions. Max planned all along to involve weapons. It was very easy for us to exploit this. Initially, Singe fought back against her. We needed Max to feel like she had power. It made it more believable when he caved. At that point, she was getting cocky. Her staff loaded the building with weapons. Everything was going her way. She went on to kill Clace. Then she took care of the previous guard. That's when I entered the scene. The contest would last for one whole day. Midnight tonight would be the battle's end. It was important that we remained passive. Singe started to play a frightened role. No sudden movements, he'd say. We needed Max to believe she was winning. That's why. He looks away from me before continuing. That's why we let Rocker and Rook die. It needed to look like I was failing. This made Max even more confident. Tensions rose in the convention center, tensions that made me seem inadequate. People were fighting amongst themselves. They wanted to leave, but they couldn't. Singe was still playing his part. Max was clearly winning. It was obvious. So it was my turn to act. I pretended that my resolve was wavering. These people were dying on my watch. How could I ever guard anyone ever again? I put on quite the show for all of you. I even acted at the press conference, too. I still feel bad about that outburst. But it was important to showcase doubt. Max had what she wanted. Singe was completely in her pockets. Her brother wasn't able to outsmart her. And everyone was still in one place. It would be so easy for her to win. That's when I decided to meet up with her. It was all going according to plan.
I sense a butt coming.
Right. She actually suggested that we team up. She said we could kill the rest together. But she didn't know I was recording. I got her to admit that she was the killer. But she thought she was just converting me. That is extremely smart. Actually, it's almost unbelievable. But one part irks me about all of this. It implies that they willingly sacrificed lives. Yeah, that was the little crux I was waiting on someone to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not proud of what we did either. But it was either them or all of us. I'm sure you know that feeling as well. Either way, we worked with the police. The bomb going off was their signal. Instead of coming in, they set a perimeter.
I did agree to work with Max. She believed that she had my allegiance, but I made use of the recording immediately. I gave it to both the media and the police. Maxine Armstrong is completely ruined.
Mwahaha.
Receiving the recording was their signal. After that, they'd attack the building, but everyone except for her would be gone. This whole plan assumed a lot, of course. First, that she would use her weapons, and second, that she would confess to me. But I know how she works, after all. I was certain it would unfold this way. That's why I made them tactical signals. Trust me, she's not winning. If they didn't catch her, she's on the run. She'll lose control of the company as well. I picked that exact time to evacuate. She'd be caught up in saving her own life. There's no way she knows where we are. I believe that's what you call checkmate.
She's gonna turn up behind her.
Yeah, it's... Okay, the achievement for this chapter was called The Big Play, and it had Singe's face on it for some reason. This was crazy, to say the least. I don't like that the music stopped.
Yeah.
But if anyone could do it, it was them. And the fact that we're here confirms it. The strategy involved was unfathomable to me. I was just an unlucky soul caught in the middle. I don't know what your role really is. In fact, I don't even know if Rayo does. But he'll be coming here shortly anyway. He has to take me to the Ark. Or should I say my new home. Perhaps he'll have some answers then. I'd suggest taking a walk around. Everyone is here except for Daz and Singe. They're resting in a separate bunker. I still thought it would be wise to do this. If Max found one of the bunkers, she still wouldn't be able to win. But for the first time, you're safe. I'd enjoy this evening with everybody. Your duty as a savior may come soon as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's done.
I don't know.
He got stabbed. By a magic sword, I think. I nod and return to my feet. He was right. Things were coming to a close. I slowly walk towards the exit of the room, but before I can leave, Acheron calls to me. I quickly turn back around and look at him. Your bond with Acheron was strong enough. Wait, can I keep you for 1 minute? Oh boy, husbando time!
1 more minute.
There's something that's been on my mind. That ass. No. I take a few steps back towards him. I'm all ears and ask him what he wants to say.
No, I'm pretty sure he's all ears.
Well, it's about the Armstrong name. When I ran away, why I left it behind. It's more related than you may think. I press my back against the wall and listen. I guess he assumes there's no holding back. If he's about to leave for the Ark, he should talk. Let's see, where should I start? This is a long-ass chapter.
Yes, it is.
Armstrong was run by my parents. That is, until about 5 years ago. They were working on a new chemical weapon, but it was too much to do on their own. They had to acquire investors, and fast. The company pockets only went so deep, so they scoured the globe for partners. It didn't take long to get what they needed. They held a meeting for the investors, a chance to show off what they made, potentially to get more money, too. But it wasn't so simple. Chemicals can be very volatile. I'm sure that you can guess what happened. The weapons went off by accident. Luckily, I was watching from outside. Well, I guess lucky is a relative term. I watched my parents die in an agonizing death. They clawed at the glass, begging for help, but there was nothing I could do. Max was beside me as well, shocked. Our older sister had her eyes covered. After this, the family was in disarray. Our older sister was thrust into leadership, but she wasn't trained. None of us were. The whole world had its eyes on us. Some important people died that day. We tried our best to cover it all up. But you can't cover up memories. These events affected families everywhere. We weren't the only ones who lost people. It took a while, but we recovered. Business was good, and we traveled lots. Eventually we ended up in Africa. A dignitary wanted our services. Some local warlords had threatened him. So the Armstrong siblings went for a visit. He requested our latest weaponry. The chemical weapons were put on hold, so we had to bring some explosives. He was very nice to all of us. He gave us a tour of his massive estate. Then he wanted us to meet his son. I was more than ecstatic to meet him. It's always nice to make strong connections. But the room he took us to was empty. He started crying as he told us the truth. His son had moved to America a while back. He made a fortune investing in companies.
Including Armstrong.
One of those companies was Armstrong. He broke down and kept asking us why. Why did we take his son away from him? But none of us knew what to say. The next thing I knew, we were passing out. He must have drugged the meal he gave us. I would have never guessed he had a past like this. He always seemed so calm and collected. I asked him what happened next, and especially how it relates to the current events.
Well, we were separated when we woke up. I was tied to a chair, and he was there. My older sister was tied to a chair, too. But she was in a room farther away. This is where it gets familiar. We both had bombs strapped to us. He left the room and told Max to choose. Would she save her brother or her sister? I begged her to let our sister live. She was the head of the company after all. I was nothing. It didn't matter. The man wanted us to experience his pain. Max told him that we already did. We lost our whole family in that incident. Unfortunately, he was too far gone. What he wanted was revenge. And we were the only remaining Armstrongs. It's kind of ironic, isn't it? He used the same weapons we brought. We provided him with the means to do this. I begged and I pleaded for my death. It seemed like Max's choice was obvious. But for some reason, she wouldn't do it. She let our older sister die. I still remember hearing the bomb. I heard the moment her life was ended. The man came in to free me. As soon as he did, I attacked him. I wanted to kill him. I really did. But he was armed, and he was stronger. That's how I got this scar on my face. Scar?
I'm assuming the big red stripe.
Oh, I just assumed that was coloring. Okay, whoever the artist was isn't good at scars. He marked me with a knife so I'd remember. He was never heard from again after that. Max and I ran back to America. She promptly inherited the entire company. A little convenient, wouldn't you say? I think that's what she wanted all along. She took the opportunity to off our sister. That way she'd get to run the company.
Or her sister begged her to save little brother.
Could be. But then, did she kill our parents too? Was she responsible for the accident? If she was, she finally got what she wanted. At that point, I decided to run away. But she told me one final thing. One day, you'll know what it felt like. She swore that she caved under the pressure. It had nothing to do with inheritance. Her body just went on autopilot. But I would never know for sure. At least, that's what I thought. I didn't see her again until this ordeal. And of course, what does she do? Sets up those bombs. Makes me watch. I saw the look on your face. The look of fear and indecision. How could you choose between Keela and Rook? It would be even harder if it were family. I think she wanted to send that message. She wanted me to see what it looked like. And it's not a pretty sight at all. But it did nothing to prove her innocence. She's not above killing to inherit. It's what she's doing now for the Ark. To that end, the message loses validity. I'm still left with this scar. I remember it every time I look at myself. My sister's death and Max's betrayal. I thought you deserved to know. There was a reason you had to choose, and it was only to prove a point to me. I'm sorry you had to experience that, but Maxine Armstrong is insane. No shit. She killed to take over the company. She killed at a chance for the Ark. There's nothing she won't do. Now, I don't know why Singe agreed to help, but Armstrong is a heartless company. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a victim. But I'll give you one piece of advice. If you ever see her again, run away. Doing that made my life all the better. He crosses his arms as if he's done talking. There was another achievement, a fateful choice. I notice a slight glisten in his eyes. Aw, he's crying. You don't need to give me a reaction. It's just something I wanted you to know. You can leave the room as you see fit. I nod at him, unsure of what to say. I'm satisfied that I'm learning so many things, but I'm crushed at the sorrow he must have felt. One of the first things I'm going to do? I'm going to bring back my sister. She'll make this world a better place. And I'm very sorry for lying to you. I hope that you can learn to forgive me. As I said, lack of honesty is my regret. This whole thing was a setup. I couldn't risk the operation. This time I was forced to lie. I never would have done it otherwise. He smiles at me, with nothing else left to hide. Then he returns to his chair, ending the conversation. It's true, he could bring her back if he wanted.
if he won. I assume he could do the same for all the others. You assume? It would take a while to process all this information, but at least some of my biggest questions were answered. I leave the room with a sense of satisfaction. Would you like to save your game? Fucking yes, thank you. We're going to end that episode because it's been running for 40 minutes and I can't really cut out any of it. So, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. I think we're getting close to the end of the game.
I think so. So, till then, bye, guys.
Bye.